So we've got a lot exposed here, John, and we've got something else going on as well, haven't we?
Yeah, one of the big challenges of our site, or obligations, is to deal with the media, as we're dealing right now. And we're joined today by the team from BBC and Digging for Britain, who are filming us as part of their new series, which may be coming out next year or the year after. So as you can see, digging away and filming us as we speak, as we are doing this every week. So I think we're getting to a point where we're getting right through the burials now, where we could possibly see an end in sight. So the team from Digging for Britain are recording the excavation of some possibly later burials in coffins as we're coming up. So we're seeing natural sand coming through, so we've done quite a lot of work of the northern end of the site. And we thought actually a week or so ago we didn't have too many burials, but obviously that's not been the truth, and we're finding quite a few more there, including possibly a couple of pits with burials in them. So as I say, we've been cracking on quite a bit on the site, and a lot of progress has been made. And as we go through here, we've got some new exciting discoveries over the last week or so. As we were here last week, we've just come across what is one of the most important burials so far, groups of burial. And so far I think we've got about 13 burials in here, and this is this large burial pit where you can see a mixture of children here, and there's one at the back, and there's sort of adults coming through, a couple of adults. And you can tell by obviously this individual's legs are buried in. You can just see it obviously going underneath the sand over there, so we've got at least another layer or so possibly coming out here. Once you see, now we've taken off a lot of the overburden on this side, the sort of modern road makeup. You can see here clear evidence of being cut through by possibly the sewer pipe, Victorian sewer comes here, or if not that, one of the water mains coming through here. Got modern bricks here and so we've lost probably the end of these burials in this section. But if we move up the site, in this sort of middle part, we're getting the deepest area. You can see there's another individual, nice coffin wood here, the lid of the coffin, the sides. But you can see here, this is all we've got left is the skull of this adult female, when it's been cut clearly along this line. So we're seeing a lot of removal burials here in the past. I can see recording is going on as we speak in the background. Obviously the tarpaulin, we've got a nice sunny day for once, and they're taking some photographs of the next burial phase of burials that we're getting up. And it's quite an interesting individual, because we've got possibly remains of a copper pin or brooch or something, we're not quite sure, just on the shoulder of the individual there. So it's quite an exciting find. So we're not finding a lot of artefacts apart from coffin nails and maybe the odd shroud pin with the individuals. So as we're going on, we seem to be getting shallower and shallower, and we seem to have a lot more concentration as we suspected in this deeper middle part of the graveyard. So again, just a nice layer of concentration of burials. You can see, this is quite an interesting shot where you can actually see two different layouts of burials. We've got some going off in this direction, sort of 30 degrees to the main axis of burials. So, and most there should be in this direction, we can see from the middle of the graves with nothing in it has been removed. And that's the sort of normal east-west alignment of the burials. Now, it probably relates to different periods of graveyards. So you've got two graveyards being marked out at different periods. So it'd be really interesting to find out the dates of these burials, and say one is maybe 14th century and another one might be to do with the church in the 15th century and 16th century. So we're now trying to understand and getting evidence of how the actual graveyards changed through time. Now, we talked earlier about possible copper finds from this individual. This is an individual in question. It's possibly a nice little coffin cut actually, but you can see the legs are turned over, one sort of right over left. Weirdly, the the head is actually a lot higher than the rest of the grave. It's almost sort of resting on something underneath. But I don't know if you can see. If you patch down there, if you come closer, the sort of yellow, green staining. That's a bit something of a copper artifact is actually embedded on the top left hand elbow. Sorry, not elbow. Top of the left shoulder of this individual. So that object will be taken away and immediately taken back to Glasgow for conservation, and we'll hopefully there'll be something underneath that we can actually identify. It all depends on how corroded it is. This section is quite interesting because it actually shows the complexity of the burials itself. We've got 2 individuals on that, possibly the earlier proper east-west alignment. Yet when we go over here, we've got a nice row of possibly 3 or 4 burials. Just coming up. Over here we've got a line of 3 or 4 burials, some under tarpaulin. You can just see the 2, possibly 3 skulls being shown coming up in this direction. So all one on top of the other coming up on this sort of alignment. So that's really where the concentration and the focus is going to be in the next 3 or 4 weeks, is in this sort of middle part of the site.
Lovely, thank you very much, John.